everybody. Let's go ahead and look at functions. I don't know if you're all like me. Whenever I hear function, I think function, what's your junction? If that's even a real thing. Anyway, functions. So we talked about a relation earlier, okay? More specifically, a function is a relation. It's just a specific, that's hard to say, where every input, your x value, has exactly one output, which is your y value, okay? So important things. X values cannot repeat for it to be a function. Y values can repeat all day long, okay? But your x values cannot repeat. It has to pass a vertical line. What's a vertical line? Whoop, whoop, going this way. Remember, think about your vertical in basketball or in volleyball, in track. Like they want to see how high you can jump. That is your vertical. You can't jump, but you can't jump side to side. Never mind. So when we talk about pass the vertical line test, that means I can draw a vertical line anywhere on the graph. It only touches your line one time, and we'll kind of show you what that looks like in just a second. So looking at the different possibilities, so again, a relation, there are 4 different ways it can look. You have your ordered pair, you have your input-output table, you have your mapping diagram, and you have your coordinate plane. So there's a lot of different ways that it can look, but I want to give you a few examples here. So it can look like a table, as we just saw. So if you'll look right here, again, you're only looking at your x values. -1, 0, 1, 2, 3, 4. None of those repeat. And you might be thinking, oh my gosh, there's 1 on there twice. Remember, -1 and 1 are 2 completely different numbers, okay? Being negative and positive make them different. It's a different conversation. If you need help with that, let's talk through that. So a table. So we have our table. You don't have to look at the y column, okay? Just whenever you're trying to see if it's a function or not, you do have to look at the y column for other things. Looking at a graph, so you see you have this blue V as your line. And so if I draw a line, do you see, so that pink line is my vertical line. That yellow circle says like it only hits that line one time. So let's try it on another point in the graph, okay? It still only hits the line one time, okay? Again, it hits it one time. Again, it only hits it one time. And again, you're like, oh my gosh, what is, she just drew 4 different lines, but it touches 4 different times. I'll show you what I'm talking about in just a second when I say it can only touch once. And then we have our mapping diagram. And if you'll notice, the x values don't repeat. So do you see how there's only one line coming from every x? That means the x value is only used once. If you'll notice right here, you have this 4. There are 2 lines drawn to it. That's totally fine. That means that you have an ordered pair, -2, 4 and 2, 4. Again, y values can repeat. It's just your x values that can't. So I'm a person, I need to see like, okay, so you tell me what it looks like. What should it not look like? And here, you'll look at your input-output. If you look at the x column, so I have 3, 4, 5, 4. I said the number 4 2 times. So automatically I can stop looking. I know that it's not a function because the x value repeats, okay? So now looking at a graph, I'm gonna draw a vertical line. My peak line is my vertical line. Okay, you'll notice, you see where those 2 little circles are? Drawing one line, it hits it 2 separate times. That's what I mean whenever I say you draw a vertical line and it only hit the one time whenever we're looking at what it should look like. Here, I drew one line and it hit the same line twice. And again, that's highlighted by the yellow. So it fails the vertical line test, so it's not a function. And then we have our mapping diagram. So if you look here, do you see how there are 2 arrows drawn from 2? So that means you have an ordered pair of 2, 20 and 2, 40. Remember, x values cannot repeat. The x value is happening twice, okay? So here's what you're going to do. So you are going to test out and see like, okay, how do I know something's a function? So again, relation, big picture, okay? Function is a little bit more specific. Relation, x values can repeat, anything can happen, it doesn't matter. But for a function, your x values cannot repeat. So something that's a relation doesn't have to be a function. But if it is a function, it is also a relation. So again, something can be a relation and not a function. But if it is a function, it has to be a relation, okay? So you're going to test out your knowledge and you're going to practice to see like, okay, do I fully grasp this, okay? So what you're going to do, you have your problems in front of you. I want you to go through and I want you to like determine, is this one a function? Is it not a function? Okay. And whenever you're ready, you're going to press play and you are going to see if you got the answers right. Okay. So ready, set, pause the video. We're back. So here's what we're going to do. We're going to go through all these. We're going to talk through them. We're going to see how you did. This one is a function because you have a 2, a 5, and a 10. It does not repeat any x values, so we are good to go. For this graph right here, you'll notice you have 2 values for -1 for x. So this is -1, 1, and this is -1, -2. X values cannot repeat for it to be a function. So this is a relation, but it is not a function. So we have our ordered pairs. I got 4, -4, 1, -4. That should say not. And I even triple checked these to see if these were right. So again, this should say relation, but not a function. Make sure you get that. It's called grace. That's what you gotta learn. Your teachers don't know everything. Then your second one, we have -8, -4, 1, 6, 8, and 4. Is a function. Remember, 4 and -4 are not the same number. That's why it's not an x value repeating if one's positive and one's negative. Okay? So now, we have, looking at your x column, there are no x values repeated, so it is a function. For this one right here, if you'll notice, you draw a vertical line, and it hits it twice, so it's automatically out. Last but certainly not least, we draw a vertical line. It only touches once. It is a function. And then for this second one, if you'll notice, -35 has it going to 2 separate values, so it is not a function. So I hope you learned something. Let me know if you got questions. Go be great, y'all.